Have you ever wondered why, in 2025, at the pinnacle of biotech and artificial intelligence, rates of cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune diseases are higher than at any time in human history? It's a cruel paradox unfolding right before our eyes. The more modern our society becomes, the weaker and more dependent we grow. Is this just an unlucky side effect of industrial lifestyles? Or is there something deeper? We're trapped inside a giant money-making machine called the sick care economy. Here's a bitter truth you need to accept. To the multinational processed food giants and Big Pharma, a healthy customer is a lost customer, and a dead customer is worthless. They want you to hover in a perfect, profit-friendly limbo, not healthy enough to stop buying meds, but not sick enough to stop working and feeding the global economic engine. Today, on The Finance Craft, I'll strip away the masks of the invisible alliance between processed food and the pharmaceutical industry and show you how your wallet is being drained quietly and deliberately by the very things you put into your body every day. What you're about to hear may make you uncomfortable about long-standing habits. Good? That discomfort is the wake-up call you and your family need before you become someone else's quarterly statistic. Welcome to The Finance Craft, where we expose the truths society would rather keep hidden. To dig into the heart of this issue, imagine a supermarket in the city. 2025. Fluorescent lights buzzing, shelves piled high with attractively packaged products, beckoning you. On the surface, it's prosperity and choice. But if you look past the glossy wrappers, you're standing in a maze designed to steer your body toward a calculated biological crisis. In today's fraught global economy, with supply chains squeezed by energy price swings and raw material inflation, multinational food corporations discovered a golden formula to sustain profit growth: ultra-processed foods. According to analyses from respected health organizations like The Lancet and other studies, over 60% of an average adult's calories now come from heavily processed foods. This is not just poor nutrition, it's an economic strategy built around the bliss point. Food scientists didn't pursue the bliss point to make you healthier. They sought the precise blend of sugar, refined salt, and saturated fat that fires your brain's reward circuitry so powerfully you can't resist. The first bite floods your nervous system with dopamine, a fake hit of satisfaction that tricks your body into thinking it's found precious energy. But the euphoria hides a darker script. Your body gets hammered by waves of chronic inflammation. Blood sugar spikes, then crashes, leaving you exhausted, foggy-headed, and craving the next dopamine fix. That's how the system turns primal survival instincts into consumer addiction. Now consider the bigger context. In 2025, with living costs rising, fresh and organic foods have become luxury items many middle-class and working families simply can't afford. Meanwhile, cheap, long shelf-life processed foods stabilized by chemicals become the only practical choice for strapped households. It's a brutal trade-off. You save a few coins at checkout, but you quietly sign a long-term IOU with the health system. And those food companies aren't acting alone. There's an invisible but tight financial handoff happening. As industrial diets wreck gut microbiomes and trigger metabolic disorders, you stop being a food customer and start being raw material for Big Pharma. Think about your life. Have you ever felt full but somehow empty? Or washed out at the start of the day? That's your biology yelling. Starved for nutrients, flooded with chemicals. The economic system needs you in that state, tired enough not to cook, dependent enough to grab fast food, and ill enough to need pills for blood pressure or cholesterol. International finance reports warn that lifestyle-related diseases will cost the global economy tens of billions in the coming decade. Guess who profits from that astronomical bill? It's not you. The alliance between processed food and Big Pharma runs as a perfect loop. Food creates chronic conditions. Pharma manages, but rarely cures them. Why, in 2025, with the ability to detect micrograms of contaminants in labs, do fake meds and bad food still slip into family meals? Because regulatory systems have structural gaps where private profit trumps consumer protection. We've entered an era where illness has been fully commodified. You're enticed to eat inflammatory products, then sold supplements or anti-inflammatories as the fix. Money flows from your pocket into corporate vaults in an endless cycle. Be honest. Have you ever stood in a supermarket aisle, feeling powerless to choose something genuinely safe? Or kept consuming a product you know is harmful, like a nameless addiction? Tell that story in the comments. Your real experience is evidence that this trap is tightening around us. Community awakening is the first step out of this profit maze. Once you see how the food industry paves the way for biological instability, you must dig deeper into the maze's core and name the ruthless financial rule driving billions of people's health, the economics of chronicity. In macro finance, as capital searches for steady, inflation-resistant returns, there's no more attractive asset class than incurable disease. Here's a blunt truth, often hidden behind Big Pharma's financial reports. A fully cured patient equals lost revenue. A chronically ill patient becomes a decades-long income stream. Look at market analyses from major financial institutions. You'll spot a pattern. R&D budgets are disproportionately spent on symptom management rather than definitive cures. Why? Because one-time cures would collapse a company's market valuation. Daily medications for blood pressure, blood sugar, mental health are the golden geese. They turn your body into a subscription service. You're not buying health. You're buying permission to keep existing at a minimal level so you can continue to work and consume. This is where the personal pain comes in. Have you followed a doctor's prescription to the letter only to see dosages rise year after year? The system is designed so you don't die. Dead people can't buy medicine. But you also don't truly get well. You remain stable and profitable. With big data and predictive algorithms, insurers and pharma can even calculate the lifetime value of a customer from their medical history. How much you'll pay from the day you enter pre-diabetes at 30 to the complications that hit at 60. It's a chillingly precise business model. This truth is even crueler when paired with inflation and economic breakdown. When living costs soar, people cut education and entertainment before they ever cut life-sustaining medications. That makes pharma a financial safe haven for big investment funds like BlackRock and Vanguard firms that, not coincidentally, often hold controlling stakes in processed food companies, too. It's a closed loop. With one hand, they sell what makes you sick. With the other, they sell what keeps you just well enough to pay. Both ends of the value chain extract the money you've worked your whole life to save. We were taught to work hard for a comfortable future. But if you're not awake to this system, your lifetime savings may simply end up as one final transfer to the industrial health complex. You're working 10-12-hour days to pay loans and buy manufactured comforts, using your exhaustion as an excuse for habits that accelerate your slide into chronic illness. Ask yourself honestly, do you own your life, or are you an asset being cultivated for profit on a corporate farm? If you've watched a loved one rely on handfuls of pills every morning, or you yourself feel trapped in an endless treatment loop, share it in the comments. Real stories help us see the sick economy for what it is, not an abstract theory, but a presence in every family medicine cabinet. It's time to stop believing in miracle drugs and start examining how we're running our bodies and finances before it's too late. Painful truths can free us from the mindset of being wage slaves to sickness. As we move into 2026, we face more than biological disease. We're in the eye of a perfect storm, where macroeconomic shocks are actively squeezing each person's right to be healthy. Reports from the IMF and the World Bank warn the same thing. We're entering a prolonged food price inflation era, driven by broken supply chains and extreme climate impacts that cut agricultural output. This isn't anyone's personal failure, it's a global scenario we all share. And within that chaos, loopholes let substandard food and poor nutrition leak into your daily meals under the banner of saving money. When raw material costs rise, manufacturers face two choices: raise prices and lose customers, or cut quality to stay cheap. In an economy where households are squeezed by housing and energy costs, most choose the latter. They swap pure vegetable oil for cheap trans fats, replace natural sugar with intense chemical sweeteners that wreck the liver and kidneys faster. Economic strain becomes the perfect excuse for food that's cheap now and costly later. You might think you're being smart grabbing promotional deals or ready-to-eat bargains during hard times. In truth, you're trading future health for present survival. Picture the average worker in 2025 after an 8-10-hour shift, depleted and mentally drained. Do they have the time or energy to prepare a nutrient-dense meal from fresh ingredients? Or will convenience win? Processed boxes, preservatives, and neon drinks to revive a fleeting buzz? Modern economic systems need you to operate like a machine, and to keep that machine running, they supply the cheapest fuel. Illness becomes a logical outcome of a coerced lifestyle. Self-care becomes luxury. This is where blaming big forces becomes important. The pressures of the global economic grind strip your choice away and turn you into a weak link in a system that needs consumers more than it needs healthy people. Worse still, by 2026, technology has become adept at masking toxicity. Sophisticated flavorings and texture modifiers can turn low-grade protein or agricultural waste into something that tastes like premium meat. Low-quality supplements hide behind organic labels on e-commerce platforms, preying on information gaps and public anxiety during health crises. Without critical thinking, you're an easy mark for glossy marketing and empty promises. Do you see the paradox? More information doesn't always mean better choices. More nominal wealth doesn't guarantee peace of mind. I want you to understand that the collapse of personal health is the prelude to financial collapse for families. The nightmare scenario, life savings erased in months of hospitalization, is not fiction. Medical costs are growing faster than most GDPs. Stocks, property, gold, none matters if your body is mortgaged to chronic disease. Protecting your health is the smartest anti-inflation investment you'll ever make. Take a minute. Look at your last meal, or the drinks on your coworkers' desks. Do you spot the traces of toxic convenience? Are you drifting with shareholder incentives, accepting degraded standards because everyone does it? Don't be silent. Share how you try to keep a clean lifestyle in an economy full of cheap temptations. Your practical tips on finding safe food or resisting industrial habits are the codes our community needs to survive the storm. Real change rarely comes from distant policy. It starts with what you put in your cart today. After peeling back this panorama, you might feel uneasy or angry. Good. The goal of the finance craft isn't to paralyze you with fear. It's to arm you with clarity so you can reclaim control. In a system determined to make you a chronic customer, staying healthy, sharp, and medication independent is the ultimate act of resistance, the highest return anti-inflation investment no exchange can offer in 2026. Never forget, your greatest asset isn't your bank balance, property titles, or investment portfolio. It's the beating heart and resilient body you carry. All the wealth in the world is meaningless if your life savings end up paying hospital bills. So start with small changes. Be a discerning consumer. Say no to toxic convenience. Learn to listen to your body instead of surrendering to slick advertising. Bitter truths can be a tonic that wakes you up and helps you protect both your wallet and your life before the health crisis hits. Consider this your final warning. The system won't change for you, but you can change how you move through the system. Will you remain a revenue line, or will you become an awakened individual? Take control of your destiny and your health. The answer is in your cart and on your plate today. If you found this valuable, share the video so your loved ones wake up too. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next episode. What do you think will happen if we keep living like this? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a community that's healthy and free inside this profit-driven maze. Stay brave enough to protect your wealth and wise enough to protect your health.